Hey everyone, it's Dan here from Core Smartphone. Just bringing you a comparison between a new device that was announced today and its previous older version. So here is the brand new HTC One. Yeah, okay, I'm only joking. This is the original one. You can tell by the single camera on the back. But we do have a new HTC One. So let's go over the differences between these two. So this was the original one, going by the codename M7, but it wasn't really talked about as an M7, it was just called the HTC One. This is the phone that was announced today. This is the HTC One M8. M8 was again the codename, but HTC have actually gone with it. So you'll see all the advertising talking about the M8, or the Mate as people will call it. That is this new phone here. It's still the HTC One, they've just updated a few kind of features really. So looking at the front, you get ignore the fingerprints, you get a slightly bigger screen. This is a 4.7, this is a 5-inch, so you do get a bigger screen. Which is nice. It just makes everything a little bit bigger, so your pictures are on a bigger screen, your videos you play back look bigger, everything just looks a lot more enjoyable really. On the front you have the sensor there on the old one, and the 2 megapixel front facing camera, and the boom sound speaker at the top. The new phone, you have the boom sound speaker at the top, which is now 20% louder, so you get much louder, clearer music, plus your speakerphone as well. The light sensor's now here, and you have a new 5 megapixel front-facing camera. This whole selfie craze that's going around at the moment, there's actually a selfie mode on here to allow you to take self photos, if that's what you want to do. Looking at the right hand side, compare the two to each other again. You've got again the M7 has the volume up and down, and that is it. The M8 has the volume up and down, which actually sticks out now. This was flat on the old version. The new version actually sticks out, so it's like a proper button. You also have the micro SD card slot, which supports up to 128 gig of storage. So really handy. We've seen some 128 gig cards out now at MWC, so this will now support it if you want to put a memory card in there. Looking at the top, you have on the old phone again, you had the volume on and off, which acts as the infrared, and you had at the top the 3.5mm headset jack. On the M8 you have a single button at the top, which is for your volume, so your power, and you've got this kind of whole black bar across the top here, which is around there somewhere is your IR blaster, which they've again updated the app on the phone, so lets you do a lot more things, including get sports results and just be a whole lot more social based, based on also the new version of Sense that comes on here. Turn the phone over, left hand side, comparing the two. On the M7 you had the micro SIM card slot. On the M8 you have a nano SIM. The actual tray is bigger on the M8, but it does take a nano SIM, so yeah, if you've got a micro SIM and you want to use one of these for yourself, then you need to head down to your local shop and get yourself a nano SIM, because that's what you need for one of these. On the bottom, on the M7 you have this micro USB charger, and that was about it. On the M8 you have the micro USB charger, and they've moved the headsets port down to the bottom. I personally don't like that. I prefer my headsets on the top. It's a personal preference. People will probably love it being on there. Some people wish it was at the top. Again, it's your own personal choice. Everyone is going to be different. Now the biggest thing about these two is it's on the back. And if you have a look here, you can see same kind of line design. They've kept the same kind of design language between the two. Still got the HTC in the middle, Beats Audio logo on this one here. The biggest two things on the back is you have a single LED flash on the older version. The new version has a new dual LED flash, so it just means it's a lot brighter for using in your photos. But the biggest thing you will see is there's two cameras, and that's done for a big reason. Now the camera lens is a ultra pixel, which you'll be probably wondering, what is an ultra pixel? Basically, HTC have gone down the route, like they did with their old version, that it's not about megapixels. You know, you can have a 20 megapixel phone. It's about the amount of information you let in, the light that gets let into the actual lens to take the photos. The more light you let in, the more detail, the better the images can technically look, especially at night time. We've seen this on some of the Nokia Lumia devices like the 925. So you still keep the 4 ultra pixel camera on here, but the additional of this camera here means when you're taking a photo, it's technically taking 2 photos, and what you can do with that one is you can do all kinds of clever effects, such as blur the background or blur the foreground. There's a load of other things that they've got built into the new version of Sense on the phone, which I'll be covering in a separate video. Lots of kind of different cool ways of getting the best out of your photography, really. It's no longer just a point and shoot like you'd see with this one and have to use third-party apps to kind of improve your photos. This, with the 2 cameras, will let you do kinds of all clever things, like almost like a 3D photo. You can almost take a photo of something and kind of peek to the side of it. It's kind of a move it around. It's like a 3D kind of weird type of photo you can get from here. I've literally only had hands on the M8 for, well, it got announced at about 4 p.m. was when the conference finished. About 4:30 was when I literally got my hands on this, and I've only been back in the hotel for a short time. Just recorded a podcast for Cool Smartphone talking about this phone here because lots of people want to know about it. So I haven't had a huge amount of hands-on time with it so far. That I am planning to do over the next 2 weeks. I'm going to have lots of photos and videos coming. You're going to see a hands-on initial impressions about the new M8 go probably live by the time you're watching this. I'm going to have a couple of videos going live about the new version of Sense 6, or as HTC called it, the 6th Sense, which I don't know. I didn't like that. A few of us thought that was quite cheesy about the 6th Sense, but HTC Sense 6 is on the new version. There's a couple of, well, quite a few visual improvements, so I'll go over that in a separate video. But this was just a quick overview, really. I couldn't do an unboxing because this phone came in a plain white box with a charger. I will go over very quickly the case, because the case is really, really interesting. So you can get, if I have the case here, you can get a special type of case, which doesn't look much, but it's quite clever once you put it on the device. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I love the design of this, you know, you'll see what I mean in a minute, but this lovely metal finish, it does looks really, really nice, and it feels great. It's probably the most premium phone I've used, and I'm including iPhones in that as well, and then you have to kind of hide it in a case, but it does have its advantages. So let's pop this in the case. So that's the phone in the case, as normal, keeps it protected. Obviously you can't see the screen, or can you? That is a LED. You have to get it positioned in the right kind of area, as you can see, but it's what I call like a dot matrix case, and that's pretty cool. It tells you the time, telling me that my battery is running low. It will also display incoming calls, so it will display the name or the number and a arrow with a green arrow pointing up to slide to unlock. It has the double tap to wake. With the calls, it's really clever. You actually, if you see at the top here, there's the holes are actually there for the speaker. So what you can do is, if somebody calls you and you see who's calling you, you just swipe up and you can talk while the phone is still in the case. So that's really, really clever, and you don't have to keep opening up. You can get a quick peek actually of what it looks like. There we go. But that's really, really clever. I mean, we don't know what the case is going to cost. There's been talk of around about the £35 mark, which is a little pricey for a case, but considering what you can do with it, you can see your missed calls, your missed texts, your battery running low, your indicators all on here, and you don't even need to open it up to use the phone. You can just see all your details you need here. So that's really, really nice idea. We did see some pictures of this on a leaked kind of post went massive around the internet before launch. It did look really, really nice, so it was interesting to see what it was like in real life. I'm really impressed with it. It does look really cool. The only problem is that it does take away from the overall finish, because say you've got it in this plastic back case, whereas when you take it out you've got your whole metal kind of finish. So there's pros and cons to everything, but it's really nice to see HTC innovating and doing something different. Not only does their new flagship phone have 2 cameras, but it also has new TV features with Blink Feed. It's got the new version of Sense. It's got 16 gig of built-in storage on this version, but again you do have the micro SD card support, but they're done a case with it as well. It's quite, I haven't seen a case like this on a phone before, so that's really, really cool, really clever design, and they've obviously put a lot of thought into that. So apologies if this was a bit sketchy. This has literally been my first real hands-on time with the M8. I'd say I've only had it for a very short time. I headed back to the hotel, recorded a podcast, popped the phone on charge, I've taken some photos. I haven't had a massive amount of hands-on time with it. That's coming over the next 2 weeks. Just wanted to show it off, to show you the overall comparisons between the older M7 and the newer M8. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and look out on Core Smartphone for a lot more video content coming over the next 2 weeks. Bye for now.